This is video 3 in our series on assessing for multivariate outliers using a heuristic dataset in SPSS. In video 1, I introduced the dataset as well as the variables interest and a research question. I also assessed for univariate outliers. In video 2, we started assessing multivariate outliers using visualizations in calculating Mahalanobis distance, in which we found two potential cases that may be outliers. Now we're going to actually run the DDA both with and without those two cases. Now before running a DDA, it is critical to test the assumptions associated with it. In the article, Discriminant Analysis in Counseling Psychology Research by Sherry, 2007, she outlines the different assumptions that must be tested in a DDA. These assumptions include the data consists of mutually exclusive groups. There needs to be at least 2 subjects per group. The sample size per group is greater than the number of continuous variables used. The continuous variables are measured at an interval level. The variables are not part of the same measure. The data is normally distributed for each group. The homogeneity of covariances assumption is met via Box's M test. An overview of how to test these assumptions are outside of the scope of this present research tip. I have assessed them prior to recording this though. Since DDA is not listed by default in the drop-down menus, we will have to type it out in the syntax. First I'm going to go to my syntax. I'm going to add a comment with both cases number 7 and number 10. Just want to write out discriminant, then slash groups equal roll 1, 2. On the next line, we're going to write down variables equals love statistics and research D. On the next line, we're going to write out analysis call backslash save equals scores prior equal. We're going to do statistics equals mean standard deviation, boxes M. Then we're going to do plot equals separate and map. Then finally we're going to do classify equals non-missing and pooled. Now before we run this, I'm going to go ahead and copy this so we don't have to type it out again for the second DDA. We'll change the comment to without. And now since I'm going to run the DDA without case 10 and 7, rather than going into the dataset and deleting these from the dataset itself, I'm actually going to kind of go in and create a filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the dataset. I'm going to insert a new variable, and I'm going to call this retain. So I'll write down for a quick note for myself, 0 equals no outlier, 1 equals, and I think we're going to be saying this is a potential influential outlier. So what I do then is I'm going to go ahead and mark case 7. Again, with these ones, since I have participant 7, that's what I'm looking for rather than the numbers on the side. So case 7, I'm going to give them a 1. and case 10 a 1. These correspond with the two cases that had the highest Mahalanobis distances, one for each group. Everyone else, I'm going to give a 0. Now I'm going to just go ahead and change this so that it's going to be decimals of 0, just for ease, since it is a dummy-coded variable. Now I can go into the Data tab, click on Select Cases. If condition is satisfied, click on If. I'm going to move Retain into the window, and that equals 0. So what it's going to do is, it's going to create a filter, so everyone who has a 1, or those two potential outliers, will be kind of kicked out temporarily. We're not going to lose any of their data, though. So I'm going to click on Paste, and I'm going to go back into our syntax. I'm going to use this filter, I'm going to copy it, and I'll move it above the second DDA. I'm going to add a quick comment that this is a filter to remove the two outliers. Before I close out of this, I'm going to go ahead and click on Data, Select Cases, Reset, and Paste. This is going to clear out that selection filter in case we need to run any other analyses later on. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight both DDAs and click on Run. Now SPSS will calculate my two DDAs. Now, since we ran a DDA with and without case number 7 and case number 10, we would want to interpret both results and compare the results to assess where there might be potential differences because of the outliers. Since these interpretations are outside of the scope of the specific outlier analysis in this tutorial, we're going to end here today. For more information on how to detect and handle outliers, please see our research tip on outliers posted on the IVR webpage in the research tips section. Thank you for watching.